then heaven must be a lie.
Emily.
If angels can do whatever and remain in the sky, the rules are shades of gray when you don't do as you say, when you make the wretched suffer just to kill them again.
I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
Hello my fellow enthusiasts, today I'm tackling You Didn't Know, and how this singular song just changed everything in the show. Now for those of you who do not know, it has just been confirmed that none of the current angels know the rules of how to get into heaven, meaning the entire time the idea of sin and what exactly got you into heaven thus far has been completely made up. Now this changed a lot of things because one, this shows that redemption is not possible, at least in their eyes, because as of right now, no one knows what counts as good enough to get into heaven. So if you just don't make it into heaven, then you're just out of luck. Now how does this affect the narrative? As you would imagine, it changed quite a lot, and introduced some pretty interesting things that I, pun absolutely included, am very enthusiastic to go over. So let's get right into them. Starting off, we have the idea of redemption. I am genuinely curious how they are going to handle Charlie. She has just been given actual evidence that both heaven and the idea of redemption is significantly more complicated than she ever could have possibly imagined. Considering her entire concept of the hotel was that good people came to heaven and that all the sinners had to do was to voluntarily improve, which would allow them to be redeemed, you could imagine how this would shock her current worldview, considering that now she knows that this isn't the case at all. I personally think that Charlie is going to have moments like her father, and that this is going to break her temporarily, which will most likely result in a very emotional song on Vaggy's part, which will solve everything. But if we're lucky and it doesn't, this might change her outlook in a rather interesting way, or rather she will become like many of the other overlords that we've seen so far. Not in the major amounts of killing regard, but in the shattering the status quo perspective. If redemption is no longer possible and heaven is a lie, then the only way forward is to collapse both systems. Now, if she does come to this conclusion, she might want to obviously do a non-violent route. However, considering that she will never be able to set foot in heaven again, under most circumstances, this could prove troublesome, especially since we are now only 1 month away from the next extermination. That being said, I think she will have quite a lot of help. The fact of the matter is that to all of heaven aside from Adam and the exterminators, as well as the higher up angels, extermination didn't exist. This entire time, 99% of heaven has been in bliss ignorance until Adam screwed it up. There were dozens upon dozens of angels that saw this in the trial. Considering the vast majority of these people are relatively good, I think this will cause quite an interesting set of souls to pop up. Probably new characters altogether, or the characters that we have already been introduced to, with them possibly stepping up because extermination at the end of the day is wrong. Regardless, this news will definitely spread like wildfire unless a lot of angels end up getting killed to stop the secrets from spreading, which if this does not happen, heaven will be painted in a worse light even in the heaven's public eye. This also connects to the fact that this trial got many angels to second guess how they even got there, with none of them knowing the reasons for their ascension, resulting in many obviously lost in thought at the implications of this news. Unfortunately, that's all I got for this episode. I'm sorry if it feels a little half-baked, but the fact of the matter is, I didn't really get too much to work with. Thanks so much for watching, thanks to my patrons as always, and I will see you in the next video, which will most likely be out in just a couple hours because I am on a roll. Bye!
He blew his shot like the cocks in his mouth. This discussion is senseless and petty. There's no question to be posed. He's unholy, case closed. Did you forget that hell is forever?